Welcome to the CEO series. Our guest today is Jaya Maru, CEO, co-founder of Rewardz in the Middle East. Her company empowers organizations to reward and engage individuals digitally and drive overall business portfolio and strategic partnerships in the region. Jaya has an extensive background in employee recognition, wellness, HR digital transformation, and she comes from investment banking. She created Rewardz, or set up Rewardz in 2012, and the rest is history. So our guest today, we will be talking about the role of technology in wellness and engagement. So with that, I want to welcome you. How are you?
I'm very well, Ron, and it's so amazing to be here. And you're, one of the best person to talk to and be interviewed by. So I'm truly, truly delighted to be here with you.
Well, I'm glad you were able to set it up. I know you're busy, but I'm glad you were able to set aside some time so that we could have this discussion. Tell us the story of how you transitioned from, say, investment banking to create, this award-winning program, Rewardz in the Middle East.
Thank you. So the story started in 2012, where I'd spent a considerable time in banking and financial services. And we felt that there was a bit of a gap in the way technology was being used to promote engagement in the workplace. And me and my two co-founders, Nicole and Sudhanshu, we were all in banking. And, being in the big banks, we used to always have perks, very exciting perks. Yeah. But to avail the perks, it was almost a nightmare. It's like you need to go to some spreadsheet on a SharePoint and try and find out what perk are you entitled to. And then when you are at the place where you're eligible for some perks, it was almost impossible to avail it because you won't carry your staff card and things like that. And then we're like, we can change this. And we can change a whole load of things in the way companies engage and motivate their employees. And that's why we decided to start Rewardz. So 2012, a dinner table conversation. And fast forward 8 years, we are one of the largest reward and recognition and HR tech providers in Asia. We provide technology for employee recognition, well-being, corporate perks, and also have a very large digital rewards marketplace that can be used to incentivize sales teams, channel partners, distributors, customers. So we not only empower that digital engagement for employees, but also for other stakeholders of a business.
Yeah, you have a treasure trove of the top brands in the Dubai area. Everybody who is somebody is one of your clients. And you also won the HR Tech Partner of the Year.
Yes, so we moved to, or rather we expanded the business in UAE in 2015. And we were really lucky because, timing was right. And of course, a lot of hard work. And we managed to get clients like Mashreq, Expo 2020 as some of our top clients. And the product was ahead of its time. It was very new. It was revolutionary. And that was also the time when insurance became mandatory. So companies started thinking more seriously about preventive healthcare and about keeping employees active and keeping them engaged. And, one thing led to another, and our work got recognized in 2018. The biggest recognition being the HR Tech Provider of the Year at the Future Workplace Awards. And that was really a proud moment.
Yeah, I could just imagine that was cool. But you've won so many awards, so many other awards. With all the disruption today, why is wellness such a talked about topic?
So, it's a fact that most of us spend more than 8 to 10 hours every day working. And the lines now with COVID between work and home have become so blurred. So it becomes an imperative for the employer to think about well-being of the employee and not just a relationship between, a contractual relationship where you hire someone, they deliver whatever you need them to deliver, and off you go. And most of us are still working remotely, and we're missing that connection, those water cooler chats, those, hey guys, I think I'm putting on some weight. Let's have a weight loss challenge and things like that. So work is happening, but the relationships have become very transactional. So you just talk to your employee, talk to your colleagues, or talk to your boss when it's about work, and that non-work element is gone. So that social connection or that element is missing. And also people are going through immense amount of stress. Stress about if I'm going to keep my job, stress about if I'm going to be safe, if my family is going to be safe. And the mental wellness aspect becomes so important. Many of us live and work outside our home countries. We're worried about our families back home, our friends all over the world. So it's moving beyond physical well-being to mental well-being, and coming up with ways to ensure and tell your people that it's going to be fine, because all of us have really seen so much happen through the year. I mean, we probably have colleagues who are no longer working with us. Many people affected in several different ways. So it becomes a very, very important role for the employer. Yes, we know that business is tough, but it's a responsibility of the employer to ensure that they are taking care of the well-being of their employees, to ensure that those had to go. I mean, it was really unfortunate that they had to go, but those who are staying, even their morale is affected, and well-being needs to be looked into very seriously, as well as employee engagement, so that people don't think that my only interaction is my deliverable and I'm just a number, someone who's just delivering, because we need to think long-term. COVID, I mean, it's unfortunate that it's happened, but it's going to go away. It's really going to go away, and businesses really need to sit back and think about the long term and see how are they going to motivate and ensure that their current pool of talent is engaged, and they'll be able to engage the right pool of talent, because for many businesses, the way they work, the way they operate has changed considerably. They've had to pivot, they've had to remodel their businesses, so they probably have to attract new kind of talent, and that hunt is going to be a pretty aggressive one. So what's going to differentiate you versus another employer? Is it just going to be based on pay? Not really. I mean, people are really going to look down deeper and ask, so how do you look after your employees? What do you do to promote well-being in the organization? So it's going to be something that a top candidate, the top talent that is going to join your organization is going to consider all these things, and you better have a good answer to talk about that. This is what we do, and it has to be something that's strategic and well thought through, rather than something that's oh yes, we organize a health awareness week, and we do
and the week's over, we go back to what we came out of.
yeah. So it has to be more than that.
Yeah. So that's a strong business case for I would say a progressive minded CEO C-suite. How do you make the case for the old school? You had employee engagement. You had employee engagement week. You did it 1 week a year, and then we're back to, the old model. How do you talk to a C-suite to get them in this new frame of mind of this new dynamic around employee engagement?
See, it's always how does it affect my bottom line in terms of increasing my profits or reducing my costs? And the important thing is that you need to help them visualize both sides of the story. Some of them are very cost driven. So you need to help them understand that you may think that the actual cost of running your recognition program or wellness program is zero because you have zero spend. But there's so much operational efficiency in the process that there's so much time that's being taken, whereby if you just replace that process with a digital tool, it's going to save you time, and it's going to save you money. A simple example of that could be one of the clients that we were working with, small organization, 100 employees, and they used to run about 5 to 6 recognition programs every year. And we calculated that management time and time taken to run the process every month was 100 hours. Now, 100 multiplied by even 200 as a hourly cost of your time. And this is management time as well, because this is like exco and stuff, getting involved in the nomination process and stuff. 200 multiplied by 100 is 20,000. 20,000 dirhams being spent to run. When you digitize the process, it's just 5 hours. So it's a clear saving. I mean, you're going to use your time to analyze the data, to make better decisions. And of course, when you look at the top line side of things, there's enough data out there that shows that, recognition, well-being improves productivity. And when employees are more productive, when there's reduced presenteeism, when there are reduced sick days, you will see an impact on your top line. And we have seen that with clients. You also save money from the point of view of retaining your top talent. So what's the biggest reason why people leave? I think I'm not recognized. I don't feel engaged.
Yeah.
And if you can reduce that cost of losing your employees, because that can cost any business anywhere from 3 to 6 months worth of pay in invisible cost. The cost of recruiting a replacement, hiring them,
cost.
The bundle cost. So if you get this right and you're being proactive and strategic about it, you will save yourself so much time and money and focus on business rather than focus on the administrative side of things, and really drive a very valuable core proposition for your people that this is why you should be working with me and this is why we're a great place to work.
Okay. You see a lot of discussions today around wellness. Do you find that there's a lot more interest in technology to manage this? I don't want to say manage this process, but technology being involved in engagement today because of everything we've gone through?
Absolutely. I mean, 1 year back, for most organizations, it would be bizarre to think about, how can my employees not come to work? Everyone needs to come to work. But we have managed remote working for so many months, and everyone's found themselves being more productive. And actually, technology is a huge enabler there, because technology has kept us connected. Technology has kept work going. Technology has kept schools going. And people have seen that realization that, digital transformation is not a good to have, but it's a must have. And people are looking at it much more seriously than ever. Of course, for companies that, it was never really on their agenda, they are now focusing on the core connectivity or core platforms and digital transformation of the most basic layer, and ensuring that they're prepared with the right kind of business continuity plans and stuff. But definitely once that core layer is done, we are seeing significant interest in employers thinking about what am I doing to engage my employees? And look at it this way. I mean, with technology, you can build a process that's scalable. So it doesn't matter where your employees are. You can always keep them connected. You can build a process that's sustainable. So it's not dependent on, here's a passionate person and this person cares about, recognition and stuff. And once this person moves on, the whole program dies. So it's not a case of that. I mean, it's something that's sustainable. It's something that gives you a lot of measurability, because today everyone's looking at ROI, like it or not. And if you just say that, going back to that same answer that, yes, I ran X number of awards and I ran a health awareness week, so what? This many people attended it, so what? Give me more than that. And that's where you need technology to track that data and to really tell you more about insights and intelligent answers to what does this employee engagement or recognition or wellness program mean for your employees. When are your employees most active? How much sleep are they getting? Is there a reduction in the amount of sleep that they're getting? How are people doing or feeling day in, day out? So one of the important areas that we are looking at extending into is mental health and well-being, using AI for people to be able to record how they're feeling, and for organizations to be able to get a real-time pulse check of this is how my employees are feeling today. Because that connectivity, and being close to the employee sentiments is so very important. And that's why companies have now realized that, it's not a case that this is something that's a good to have, it's a
Yeah.
must have.
Yeah.
So first of all, like, well-being is a must have, employee recognition and engagement is a work must have. And then, I mean, for those who are starting the process, of course, there's a way of, let's try this manually and then we'll look at digitizing. But
Yeah.
I think now the thing is, okay, if we are starting it, why not we just start with something that's digital, that keeps everything connected, keeps everyone, participating regularly in the program, rather than, let's try it the manual way and then we'll think about digitizing the process.
Yeah. And manual is just checking the box. Did you do it this week? Yes, we did. How many participants we had, and we move on from that. And there's
Yeah.
not a continuity that's going on. So one of the things you just mentioned was intriguing to me, because I've been reading a lot and doing a lot of work around data and analytics. So there's a lot of data points that are generated from technology that if you have capabilities inside of an organization, you can use that and tie that directly to engagement and possibly productivity. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. So we have platforms in both employee well-being and employee recognition. And through our employee recognition program, one of the beautiful things that you can do is peer-based recognition, and that recognition can be linked to the values of the company. So imagine if you have 1,000 employees scattered over 5 offices, and each employee can appreciate their peer 5 times in a month. So you can potentially generate 5,000 data points in terms of who's
Okay.
appreciating who, and all this data is collected. And over a year, that's 60,000 data points. And those 60,000 data points tell you a lot. They tell you in terms of which are the departments that are appreciating each other, who's the highest when it comes to this value of the organization. You can benchmark an employee against the entire average of the organization in terms of the skill sets, in terms of competencies.
Wow.
And that's what makes it powerful, because usually if we would be having that conversation, it could be biased based on people's opinion, the C-suite opinion that I think XYZ about this person.
Yeah.
But now this is based on real-time feedback, and it's continuous feedback that's coming every day. And that data is really at your fingertips in terms of very interactive, customizable dashboards where you can look at the data, share the data with the C-suite, and make more informed business decisions. And a good case of that could be, for example, you're looking to set up a new business innovation or transformation team, and then you need your people who demonstrate XYZ skills. And now you can look at the data that's gathered from the peer-based recognitions to form that team versus relying on people's opinions. So that's how the data can really empower the business. And of course, I mean, one of the exciting pieces for our technology is also the ability to attach a tangible reward with the behavior that the employee is demonstrating or the user is demonstrating. So we use gamification. People can earn points on our platform, and that really takes the engagement to the next level. Because I mean, you and I, we all like collecting badges and points, but that kind of excitement that lasts for about a month, 2 months, 3 months. Beyond that, you're like, okay, what does this really mean to me? But if I can add another dimension of like a very personalized rewards program to it, that here are your points, and now go ahead and use your points for whatever you want. Are you someone who's a fitness enthusiast? You can use this to buy your next pair of trainers. Or are you someone who loves traveling? One day when traveling opens.
Right. As we were just talking about, right?
You can use your points to travel, or you can just use your points to order food online. And one of the exciting things that we have done, and we're really, really proud of that, is that we have tied up with charities, and people can now use the points that they earn on our platforms to contribute to charity.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that really gets people going and keeps the stickiness in the program, and it's not something that's a one-time wonder. It's
Okay.
something that really people look forward to. It otherwise there's boredom. You see, we have a very short attention span, and if it's very predictable that this is what I do with my points,
Yeah.
then you lose them. So it's really, really fascinating how much technology can simplify these things for you and make it easier.
Yeah. You know, the competencies for human resources, future focused, that's one of them, data and analytics, having an understanding, from a theoretical or statistical background, but understanding the importance of data that you could possibly generate from a tool like this and use it into increasing engagement / productivity / revenue, whatever it is. And you go through the whole business value chain, in doing that. So the term wellness today, I scanned the news. I scanned all of the big sites, from Conferry to the PwC, all of them. And almost every week there's an article about wellness. In your terms, what does wellness mean in the workplace? Because we hear these terms and now it's kind of become a buzzword. What does wellness mean from Rewardz perspective? How would you define that?
That's a very good question. As much as I would like to think that there's one definition to wellness, it really depends on the nature of your operations, of what wellness could mean. So imagine you're an oil refinery, and what does wellness mean for your employees there? It's probably taking care of their health and safety and ensuring no accidents happen there. Versus a management consulting business where stress levels are very high, investment banking, stress. So there, it could be mental health and well-being where you focus on. I think wellness in the context of corporate wellness really is driven by the nature of your industry, the nature of your employees' work, and what would it mean for that particular employee. And it's really important to look at the flexibility of your benefits program to be able to address the needs of your employees. So let's take insurance, for example. And typically what we do with annual insurance policies is it's the same plan for pretty much all employees. And we probably buy it in 2 or 3 different bands. And depending on what your hierarchy is in the organization, you get a particular package. But to someone who's 60 years old versus someone who's 25 years old, the policy could be customized in so many different ways, and then it doesn't become relevant anymore. So I think looking at how you can personalize it and make it relevant to the employees in terms of what their needs are is an important part of well-being. So not taking a cookie cutter approach, but analyzing and knowing, first of all, having that data and a record of what your employees need and what kind of jobs are they doing and what does wellness mean to them. Of course, there are things that you can do at a base level in terms of what is it that all employees need. And for all employees, of course, physical well-being is important. People should be active. So what are you doing to make sure that your employees are active? Workplace design is very important. So how do you ensure that the lighting in your office or the air in your office or the ergonomics in your office in terms of how people are sitting, that's taken care of? How do you take care of the food that's being served in your offices is nutritious and healthy food, and it's not cheap, sugary biscuits.
With icing on top.
With icing on top. And of course, health and safety. I mean, at this very time, I mean, what kind of social distancing do you have? Do you have those sanitizers? Do you have enough masks? Are you checking the air quality? Are you doing the sanitization as required? And then, of course, the very, very important role of mental well-being in terms of what are you doing to take care of stress to ensure that people don't feel overwhelmed, people are not anxious, and people feel comfortable, people feel connected, people feel loved, people feel cared about, because that's key to any employee. And I mean, you would agree with me that in good times it matters, but in bad times it matters even more.
Yes. Well, you know, I heard a. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I read some research, and it said that coming into COVID, if you had engagement, if you had a good structure, and people were highly engaged, you could weather this much better than an organization who engagement was bottom at the bottom. There was no trust between the levels inside of an organization, and they're going to come out worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know what? I mean, like it or not, in the financial industry, we've seen many crises happening. And these crises, you know, the intensity of these crises and the duration between these various crises has increased. I mean, the intensity has increased and the gap between the two crises has decreased. So it just keeps going up and down, up and down, up and down. And COVID is probably one big kind of wake-up call for all of us. And we have no surety that something like this will not happen 3 years from now or 4 years from now. So rather than being reactive and figuring things out once it hits, I think it would be a clever thing for organizations to be more prepared for this and to ensure that, you know, there's trust in the organization. People feel cared for, people feel valued, and people feel engaged.
Yeah. Preventive measures for next time. Yeah. And there will be a next time. Can you walk us through a case, you know, without mentioning names, that you have gone into companies and you've made a difference, business outcomes, kind of walk us through that value chain?
So there've been, I mean, very successful business outcomes, and with the limitation of data that we have, like there's not very much data, but we've already been seeing our clients who have been running wellness programs using our technologies, and of course other things as well that they're doing, but there's that serious intent in running a wellness program. They've seen reduction in healthcare costs, so their premiums have gone down. Sick leaves have gone down. In terms of organizations who have run their recognition program digitally through our platform, Sarah Points, they have seen their staff satisfaction scores go up. They've seen improvement in talent retention. They've seen improvement in terms of, you know, sales activity as well, that people are more motivated to pick up the phone and call their clients. Positive customer experiences. So this is across different industries, but we definitely see that sense of the data being captured in a better staff satisfaction survey and reduced healthcare costs for our clients over a period of time.
Okay. So this week is Dubai Fitness Week, is it? Is it this week?
It's starting today, the Dubai Fitness Challenge.
Fitness Challenge, yes.
Yes.
So is your company involved in it this year? I know prior year you were.
Yes. So we are definitely helping our clients as part of the Dubai Fitness Challenge as well. And the interesting dimension that we have offered to our clients is, the steps tracked from our platforms can be used to contribute towards charity. So it's no longer now a case that, just track your steps. And we have seen a lot of interesting things happening as part of steps tracking. But yes, and internally for Rewardz as well, we are running a very interesting challenge at Rewardz. So this month we turned 8 years old. And
really? Okay.
Yes, yeah. And we split our organization into 8 teams, and we have a goal to walk 8 million steps. And when we complete that, we're going to support 8 children and yeah, 8 children for their education and food for a period of 1 year. And that's the proof. and it can't make us happier. I mean, it's just beautiful for a lot of employees who are experiencing this as well.
Yeah.
It just makes it so much more meaningful. People feel more connected, and it's and I salute the UAE and Dubai for continuing with the fitness challenge, because
Yeah.
the perception is that, hey guys, we need to stay home, don't go out, but they have continued and shown their commitment towards well-being and their determination to make Dubai the most active city in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of vision that I really appreciate about this
Yeah.
country,
Yeah.
because they're serious about what they want, and they go ahead and they use technology. They are innovative with their approaches, and they don't really take no for an answer. So
Yeah.
it's difficult. I mean, we are coming from a time when gyms and everything was shut just about 3 months back. And
Yeah.
now you're going on
Tell
and
me
running
about it. Yeah.
and you're going on and announcing the fitness challenge, which goes and tells you that actually there's no excuse. There's a way everyone can stay active, everyone can stay fit, and it is important. It is very, very important. So if the government is serious about it,
Yeah.
and
It
personally,
cascades.
and personally, all of us want to look, feel better, and be happier, then organizations have to be part of it and have to support this, because it's like a tri-party thing. You can't afford not to.
Yeah. I'm kind of a steps fanatic. I have my steps goal per day, but I've noticed that a lot of people that I know across the world are now reporting how many steps they're doing. So that's a cool issue, a piece to have. But what you did with yours and the way that you tied it into Rewardz is there's something that comes out of that. So we're getting fitness out of it, well-being and all those kinds of things, but bundling that and taking care of 8 kids, that comes from a purpose-driven approach. So you could tie engagement, you could tie, technology to engagement to a purpose behind it, an overall purpose.
Yes.
It's taking a step from the wellness piece and taking it out. So how does that work?
Well, from a technology perspective, I mean, if we're looking back at the technology itself and what we do on our platforms, it's a steps aggregation, and all employees can see how many steps have you collectively walked. So, of course, on whatever tracker you're using, you are able to see how many steps you have done. But here, their news feeds in terms of what each employee has been doing and what their activity was, and then you can engage with them and say that you like it and stuff. And there's a dashboard that shows the total tally of the organization. And once and there are different medals and badges that get unlocked when you reach those milestones, and when the total target is hit, that's when the organization goes ahead and says that, okay, this is what I committed to, and they make that contribution towards charity. And of course, they can incentivize the entire journey through the challenge as well, in terms of when people earn points, different, for example, preferred rates for gym membership, or preferred rates for their meal plans, or preferred rates for buying their sneakers or whatever. They can get preferred rates and privileges around active and healthy lifestyles on the platform. So you can incentivize the journey as well as the outcome. And it's just a very beautiful way of tying your personal goals to the organization's goal, and then to the community, to something that's so much bigger. And you can run these kind of things globally. I mean, that's when it becomes really, really powerful to every organization, because now it's not a matter of, I sit in Dubai and you sit in Sydney, and everybody, no matter who you are, where you are, can be connected through this kind of a program. And we've been doing these things for a lot of our clients through the years. I mean, to date, Rewardz has run almost 150 challenges like this for our clients. And we've seen some really strong outcomes, and we have clients who call us and say that, hey guys, our employees are missing this. Can we run this again, please? And and sometimes they're like, sorry, we're giving you really short notice, but we need to run this. We need to kick it off. And we not only do the steps-based challenges. We can do like digital weight loss challenges as well. So for some of our clients, and these are technology QR code enabled weighing scales, so you don't have to record your weight manually. You stand on a weighing scale, scan a QR code, it records it, and then there are leaderboards generated based on percentage weight loss.
So I couldn't lie.
You can't lie. Yeah, and related to that, I mean, you can do food-based challenges in terms of nutrition, that how many glasses of water are you drinking, how colorful is your plate, or the healthiest recipe challenge. So that's on the wellness side, but even on the engagement and the recognition side, we have seen clients run things like, the resilience hero, that who has been the most resilient person in the last 6 months. And then people nominate, and then people go and like, and then you can earn points and you can redeem these points.
Yeah.
So it's total employee engagement. It's something that really, really drives people and keeps them connected and gets them going.
Okay. So so they've got so many apps and that tie into that from an individual perspective. So Rewardz is for the corporate sector.
Yes.
Or do you have anything for the consumer like myself, or is that something possibly on the drawing board, or how can I push it out to maybe not the non-corporate side? Any thoughts on that?
So we do work on a B2B2C model. So there are some of our clients who use our digital reward marketplaces and plug into an existing technology that they may have, or a platform that they may have. And there we become the party that's empowering the reward solution. So we work in the background. So to give you an example, there's a price comparison app in Singapore, and you can earn points and badges in that. But to unlock and redeem your badges, that technology is powered by Rewardz. So we connect our APIs to that technology. So it's like an app that you can download, and you can do that activity or behavior, and you earn points. And then to redeem your points, you don't see rewards there, but we are the ones working behind in our technology that's unlocking that reward for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But for the SaaS platforms that we have, those are pretty much B2B. So companies subscribe to it, and then their employees or their sales teams or their channel partners, they are the ones who are using it. And the company is our customer, and of course the users are all these people.
From the people that are listening in, if we have from executives all the way down to just workers, what would be your advice to executives, so-called C-suite, as we come out of this and we begin reimagining the workplace around engagement, around wellness, around technology, and the importance of that? How would you make that case or guide them if they're struggling to try and see which way they're going to go?
We had an interesting discussion on this actually a couple of weeks back, and the advice was to think long term, and to think long term and don't get hassled or bogged down by what's happening today. With all the noise and disruption. In the long term, your customers define your business, and that's your internal customer, which is the employee, as well as the external customer. So you need to stay close to your customers. You need to listen to what your customers are doing, and you need to listen to them frequently and in an operationally efficient manner, in a measurable manner, and in a manner that's engaging for them. So don't get bogged by the nitty-gritties of things. Work with people who have the experience, have run these programs, and a lot of times, we get feedback that, we've just launched an app for our organization. We can't launch another app and then another app. It confuses people. Yeah. But the thing is, people are smarter than what you think, and everyone is very technologically savvy, and we see that in the engagement rates in our platforms. I mean, we have an average engagement rate of anywhere between 60 to 80% on our platforms.
Wow, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, and I think a huge component of that is the reward marketplace and the differentiation through the rewards so that people know that what's in it for me rather than just something that's arbitrary and fictitious and people can't really touch and feel things. So the reward component is important. And in that reward component, it's very important to understand that you need to give people what they want rather than things that you can spare. So don't give things that, oh yeah, we have these freebies that we got, and maybe we can, whoever wins this, we'll just give this as a prize.
Yeah, and that's the end of it. And that's yeah.
Be generous. Be generous. And I mean, seriously, in the grand scheme of things, employee engagement will probably not even cost like 1 to 2% of your entire people budget. Okay. Don't be shy about it, and look at the ROI, what it can do for your employees, because pay is not a differentiator, nor is learning and development, I feel, because there's so much knowledge out there and people are able to self-learn. Yes, training is important, but the amount that, you think that, oh, we need to spoon feed people and, tell them this is how you do this, this is how you do this. They need to break away from the mold of the traditional model of managing people and think about how to engage people and how to bring out the best in our people. And for that, employee engagement is so, so, so important, because it's not going to be a question of, hi, we have an employee engagement and wellness program, and that's why we are an employer of choice. It's going to be about how comprehensive is your employee engagement and wellness program to be an employer of choice. So really think 5 years from now and think about the future and think about the demographics of the people who are going to be working in your organization. It's not going to be, people, sometimes even me, who are scared of technology sometimes, like, okay.
I noticed the approach. I noticed the approach that you were trying to say it in a nice way, but that was my next question on DNA.
Yeah,
I felt it.
Sorry. But I include that. I include myself in that bucket. Sometimes I get overwhelmed seeing the technology my 7-year-old son Yash is using. I'm like, how did you do that? I mean, he's joined a new school. He's using 15 different applications.
Yeah.
And to him, it's like, he's learning a new app every day and he's not even scared about it.
Yeah.
So don't be scared about, we are putting forward something that's too complex for our people to understand.
Yeah.
Don't try to babysit your people. I mean, give them something that's engaging, that's state of the art, and they will appreciate it. Yeah.
Tell Yash I said hello. It's my friend. You were mentioning demographics, and that's one of the things I think about. When you think of gamification, there's a certain demographic that's into that. Even something as simple as TikTok, there's a certain demographic that's into that. So for an organization, should that be a consideration? Say, if my average age in my organization is maybe 40, 45, or whatever it is, and I hope it's not that. But I find that in a lot of companies, the average age could be that. Would that be a deterrent, or should that be a deterrent, or how could we have a conversation around a high DNA and new technology? High DNA as in average age or tenure?
It definitely becomes a point of consideration, but I think in that case, there should be a combination of your communication strategy as well, which needs to be very clear and very succinctly address what is in it for me and why should I be part of this? Yeah. Because, I mean, if you're talking about that average age group, they've been there, done that, wiser people. And, they need to be able to see through. We say old is gold.
Yeah. I like the wiser people. I like that.
Yeah. So I think that communication, and you need to focus on the overall experience and not just treat it as we need to launch an app. The app is an enabler of a bigger strategy.
Right.
So the first point is really having clarity about what is it that you're trying to achieve. And then looking at the technology as an enabler and as a part of that technology rather than making the technology the end all and be all of what you are trying to solve.
Okay. So you mentioned 5 years out. So that's kind of a journey. So you're saying for organizations, think of it long term. It's a long term process. 1 month, one cycle is not going to do it, and it has to be built upon over a period of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And to build upon it, I mean, you need agility, you need data, because you may think that, what's worked in the past will work again.
Yeah.
But that may not be the case. So you need to be looking at data very carefully. And I mean, we get really excited when we build the analytics and data technology. But sometimes the unfortunate thing is that people don't look at the data enough. They should make it a habit to look at the data. So rather than focusing on the process, look at the outcome, understand the outcome. Of course, you need to look at data with the point of view of, how representative is this data and what is this data telling me? So don't get mesmerized or don't be micromanaging that outcome, but remember to look at the data, because that tells you a lot about where you are in terms of your objectives. And refine your process in a consistent, ongoing manner. So agility, that agile mindset is so important.
Okay. So participation, one set of numbers, but the effective numbers is the numbers coming out of the back end from the participation cycle and doing that.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, internally as well as, having external factors and demographics being considered in terms of refining your approach and tweaking it to ensure that it remains relevant to what your organization is looking to achieve is very, very important. I think there are very few organizations out there now who think about a 5-year business plan. It's more about like 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. So your wellness strategy or your engagement strategy cannot be static. It's something that needs to be dynamic. You need to have a framework. You need to have some key pillars for it. And then you look at it in totality and keep reviewing and refining it.
Okay, great. Jaya, thank you so much. Such an interesting interview. And I'm glad we were able to finally get together and do this. Thank you so much. What are your closing thoughts to the audience as it relates to technology, engagement, wellness? If you could summarize.
First of all, don't be scared of technology. Embrace technology.
Okay.
And for those who don't embrace, I mean, they'll be missing out. It's something that may have inertia there, that may sound a bit complex, but it has remarkable benefits. Secondly, agility is important. And thirdly, think about your people. Think well for your people. And your internal customers are the most important people in your organization. So take care of them, look after them. You look after your people will look after you.
Okay, that sounds like Richard Branson's quote. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jaya, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ron. That was amazing. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
A day we often